Afternoon guys, I'm in a local woodland and I'm doing a little bit of macro and close-up photography. Now this sort of time of year, I often do a bit of fungi photography, but you know, I thought I'd do something different this time, and I'm looking for some close-up and macro autumn photography. Now I'm almost certain that during this piece to camera a couple of planes will fly over, because we seem to be on a flight path here, and just over that way there's a road. So if there is any sort of disturbing noise, I hope it's not too bad, but I'm just going to crack on through because it seems to be like rush hour here. There seems to be planes going over, one every sort of 30 seconds. So if I get a little patch of quietness, that would be great. If not, I'm just going to crack on. But yeah, so what I've got here actually is I've got this old log, and I didn't place this here, but there's a little leaf just stuck into sort of like the moss on the top of the log, and it makes a really nice little subject. So it was sunny earlier, but this area was in the shade anyway. So generally for this sort of photography you want soft lighting, so all that fine detail comes out, and that's what we've got at the moment. The sun's gone behind the cloud, and I've got this lovely soft lighting, and I've got this little leaf here which is really nice, and it's just sticking up from the moss, so it makes a lovely little subject. And one of the reasons I really like it is the leaf is autumn now, so the leaf's gone brown because it's fallen off the tree, and it's just placed itself in this green moss. So you've got these lovely warm colours of the leaf, and that contrasts really beautifully with the green colours of the moss behind it. So it's a really nice subject actually. I've already photographed it a couple of different ways. I've photographed it using a big F number, so quite a lot of the leaf is in reasonably sharp focus, but that also brings in a bit more sharpness in the background. So I've also photographed it with a really low F number, so I've got a minimal depth of field, and that means less of the leaf is in focus, but the background's much softer. And then last but not least, I've also focus stacked it, and that gives me greater control over the depth of field and also the background. And I did a video on focus stacking, and I'll put a link down in the description below to that video, so I won't go through that now. But basically what focus stacking is you take lots of different pictures and you change the point of focus right the way along the subject, so that brings more of that subject into focus. But because I'm not focusing further into the background still stays nice and soft and blurry, so it gives you more control over the depth of field. And then what I'm going to do now, in order to sort of maybe give me a different effect, I'm going to use some supplementary lighting. I'm going to use this LED panel. Now before I had this, and I'm going to have an experiment with this, I've not used this before for macro. I normally use it for lighting me up when I'm doing a vlog and it's getting dark, and I often use flash lighting as a supplementary light source. But this is great because this is a continuous light source, so I can use it using my regular slow shutter speed. And not only that, but I can actually dial up the colour temperature of the light, so I can make this a warm light source, so the light's a little bit golden, or I can make it a cooler, more natural sort of daylight balanced light source. So I think this will be a really good thing to use as a supplementary lighting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to backlight this leaf now. So I'm going to turn this on, and then what I'm going to do is put this behind here, obviously out of camera, and that's going to light up the back of the leaf, and it should make the leaf glow. So I'm going to give that a go now. I'm going to take the pictures guys, and then I'll be back in a minute and we'll have a look and see what they look like. Obviously the main thing is to keep this well out of frame, but because I'm doing a macro shot, I'm only taking a small area here. It's easy to keep this out of the picture. So I'll speak to you in a minute guys. If we look at this first picture, this one was shot at f11, so a reasonably high f number. And if you look at the background, it does look a bit distracting and a bit patchy, and I think that's the problem with using too high an f number. Now if we move on to the second picture, I shot this one at f3.8, so it's a lower f number, wider aperture, and that gives me less depth of field. And you can see now the background looks so much better. It's got that smooth out of focus feel, and our main subject, the leaf, stands out more. Yeah, less of the leaf is in focus than the previous picture, but I don't think that matters because I think the background looks so much better on this shot. Now the third shot that we've got here, I've backlit the leaf using the LED panel, and I think that really works for this type of subject because the leaf just glows with that backlight, and it also shows the shape of the veins and the pattern of the veins in the leaf, so it gives that more structure to our subject, and I think that's really good, and I think that's a good improvement on the first two pictures. Then last but not least, I think it's my favourite, The leaf is being backlit again with the LED panel, but I've also used the focus stacking technique here. So I've taken a number of pictures with a different focus point for each shot, and then Photoshop just takes the in-focus bits from each picture and stacks them together into one shot, and it gives you this extended depth of field, and it's really controllable because I can still have the out of focus background, because each one of these shots, they've all been taken at f3.8, which means I get that silky out of focus background. But because I've focused along the leaf, more of the leaf is in focus, but the background is still soft, and I think that's a great improvement. So shot number 4, backlit with the LED panel, and I'm using a focus stack technique, and I think it all comes together in this last picture. And the colour contrast between, as I said earlier in the video, between the warm colours of the leaf and the contrasting cool colours of the the moss around it, I think works really well. I've got some fungi here to photograph. I've already taken some shots in using natural light, and I'm not photographing this fungi here. There's some fungi right under here, and it's in really dark shadow, and it works well because I've got the lovely light coloured fungi and this really dark woody background, so it's a very simple shot. So I've got the first picture in the bag using natural light, but now I'm going to use the LED panel again, because what I want to do is turn this on and I'm going to light it from underneath. And what this will do is the light will shine up through the bottom of the fungi, and it will create like what's called a rim lighting effect. So the edges of the fungi will be lit with this light, and it should really glow against this dark background. So what I'm going to do is put the camera on self timer, because let's just do that now. So I'm on a 10-second self timer because I'm still exposing this picture for the natural light. So, and it's getting very dark now, which means the exposures are long, very slow shutter speeds. So if I hit the shutter button without using the self timer, there's a very good chance that I'm going to get camera shake. So I'm on a 10-second self timer. We'll turn the light on, get that right under here now, press the shutter button, and hopefully this will give me a really good shot. As I say, 10 seconds feels like ages when you're waiting for it to click off, but we should take the picture in a second. Yep, that's it, in the bag. Let's have a look. Right, turn that light off for a minute. Yeah, that looks really nice. So I've got this lovely glow around the edges of the fungi. Now, I love this LED light panel. I used to use flash, as I say, and the only thing with flash lighting is you have to take the picture, then put it on playback, have a look at it, and then if you need to adjust the angle of the light, you need to take another shot, because you can't look at what the flash is doing during the exposure because it's so instant. With the LED panel, because it's a continuous light source, what you see is what you get, and it's absolutely brilliant because you can, in real time, while you're looking through the viewfinder, you can see what, you know, front lighting it looks like, or lighting it from underneath, or lighting it from the side. It's a really user-friendly light source, so I'm certainly going to be using this LCD panel again. I think it's brilliant for close-up and macro photography. It's quite small and compact, although the battery is quite heavy, but compared to using flash, this is really convenient light source. So I'm going to be packing this in my camera bag when I'm doing close-up and macro photography in future, I think. So look, I hope you've enjoyed this this video, and as always, if you have enjoyed it, if you can give it a thumbs up, give it a like, that always helps my channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, if you can consider subscribing, that would be brilliant. The more the merrier. And then last but not least, if you've got any comments, anything you'd like to say about macro, close-up photography, wildlife photography, landscape photography, or anything photography related in general, that would be great. Just leave them in the comments section below. It's always great to hear from everybody. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll speak to you on my next video. So bye for now. This is the fungi underneath the log that I've just spoke about earlier, and the first picture, as you can see, was lit with natural light. So it's mainly lighting the top of the fungi, and then obviously we've got this lovely black or really dark brown background that is formed by the log the fungi is growing on. Now the next picture, this was shot with the LED light, lighting it from underneath, and this was the cool lighting temperature. So it's quite a natural light source. It's balanced for basically daylight, around about 6,000 degrees Kelvin, and it doesn't give us much of a colour cast. So it's white light basically. It's a very neutral colour temperature. And the third picture, excuse my voice going a bit croaky there, is lit with a much lower degrees Kelvin on the LED panel, and it's a much warmer light source, so we get this warm orangey glow. Now I'm not 100% sure which one I prefer actually out of the three pictures. I think my favourite is probably the middle one, with the cool light source lit from underneath. But if you've got a minute, if you can let me know which one you prefer in the comments section below, that would be great. So do you prefer picture number 1, which is the natural light, picture number 2, the lit underneath with the LED panel using the natural neutral colour balance, or picture number 3 that I've turned up the LED or turned down the degrees Kelvin to give us a warmer light source? It'd be interesting to see which one you think is the best. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll speak to you on my next video.